Okay, no, I think I'm live now. All right, I think I'm live now. Hold up. Let's do this. Let's do this. Man, listen, I've been up here like it's just a lot going on right now. It's a lot going on right now. There we go. There we go. Okay. All right. So I got the chat up. Chat is good. We in the building. I know there's a way for me to access this stuff another way, man. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna figure this out. All right, we in here. We in here. Let me hit up. Let me hit up the Twitter. Cause if it's so few of us, then I might just go crazy. JB, what up? I was gone. Hold up, what happened? Oh, what happened? Okay, I think I'm still. Am I still live? Can y'all see me? Cause my OBS said it just shut down. Can y'all still hear me? Yeah, can y'all hear me? Am I good? Okay, I'm good. All right, bet. Let's start recording then. All right. Yo, B plus, what up? What's good? What's going on, man? Yeah, we in the building. JB, yo, I was gonna play out JB. I was gonna play our record. I was, but I ain't know. I ain't know what you know. I ain't know how you felt. I don't know how you felt. You just want to hear a record where we rapping for 8 minutes. Good, Cassandra. Thank you for that feedback. I really appreciate that. Cause I don't be knowing. I really don't. I'm trying to get a little more consistent with this, man. And it's crazy. Like I got the cosign, like like my wife holding the kids down, but man, I'm still busy. You know what I'm saying? See how JB got quiet. That meant don't play the record. That meant nah, don't play the song yet. That's cool. Excuse me. All right. Man, what are we going to talk about tonight? I wanted to follow up with some of the things that, I've some of the content that I've shared this week, and kind of get y'all's feedback. Some of you guys had already shared and answered questions and left that stuff. And I just want to talk about what, some of the things that people have said. The next time I need to learn how to pull people in on OBS. So maybe next time we go live, which maybe will be next week. Hopefully it'll be next week. Then, we can start pulling folks in, you know what I'm saying? So, where's that thing at? All right. So the question of the week was, dang, what was the question of the week? It was, what is something that you see? I gotta pull it up. What'd I say? Question of the week. Come on, man. Where is the question of the week? Oh, what is something that you believed about God that you had to unlearn? And what did that teach you about yourself? The last time we went live, we talked about deconstructing. And I kind of want to, I ain't gonna hold y'all. I'm gonna be honest. I'm really ready to get past this. But, my wife was like, you got to put a bow on it. You got to wrap it up. So, I shared in the other video that some of the other feedback that I had gotten was that, there needs to be a little more emphasis on the reconstruction as well as the deconstruction. Cause this ain't me you know what I'm saying? Are we still talking about Kanye? I haven't said a word about Kanye, and that has been very intentional. And I'm not gonna. And I know Doc is gonna try and bait me into something when we do CRS this weekend. But you know why I don't want to talk about Kanye? Because people don't want to talk about Kanye. They don't. Not in like a contextual way. Yo, King, don't pull me to the side like this, man. Don't do this. But people don't want to talk. People don't really want to talk about Kanye. Like, people just want to, either you're on the train that says he's crazy, or if you support him, you are dismissed and looked at crazy for supporting him. And I think there is like some gray area. You know me, I'm gonna find the nuance. That's my charge. I gotta find the nuance. There's nuance in there that literally nobody is talking about. And I think the problem is, I think we have a leadership problem. We expect celebrities to be leaders. Not only do we expect celebrities to be leaders, celebrities expect themselves to be leaders. And when they remove themselves out of that position, they're kind of like looked at crazy. They're like, well, why aren't you leading us? You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember when I was a kid and Charles Barkley came out with "I'm Not a Role Model," and he got killed for that. Oh, what do you mean you're not a role model? And Charles Barkley was like, "Dawg, I just play basketball." You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to raise your children. I'm not here to tell you right from wrong. I'm just a professional athlete. And so we've gone from that all the way to like America literally elected a celebrity as the leader of the country. You know what I'm saying? Like, say what you want about Donald Trump, but like, he was a celebrity that black people loved him. Mad rappers compared themselves to Donald Trump. Check Method Man's second album. He has a skit where Donald Trump actually leaves him a voicemail that says, "Hey, Method Man, we're waiting on your album." You know what I'm saying? So we got a leadership problem because, and I tweeted this earlier, and I'm like deep into content that I'm going to do like weeks out from now. But like, when I survey the land, why did you do this, King? When I survey the land and I look at all of the platforms in media, politics, entertainment, like whatever, what have you, I don't look at anybody and say, yo, I relate to them. I'm thinking about like these things that are, because the elephant in the room is that blackness is like this, like we act like blackness is this like vast experience, but not really. Not really. We treat it like it is a monolithic thing. We still want groupthink to exist within black culture. So when I look at who represents us, I look at The Breakfast Club, Charlemagne, absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? The Shop. LeBron is not going to do anything that goes against the LeBron James brand. LeBron is the man, but his number one focus is his brand and his money. He ain't going to do nothing to jeopardize that. He'll tell you Black Lives Matter, but he ain't say nothing about China. You know what I'm saying? So, me and my homies were just discussing placing leadership on people who aren't leaders. That's the other part, Bill. Like, yo, people have to come out and say, to my point about Charles Barkley, people need to come out and say, yo, I'm not a leader. You know, Beyonce and Rihanna have never flat out come out and said, I'm leading y'all. But the assumption is that they are in many ways for a certain demographic. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, when you get to this point, it's like, we ain't got nobody to lead us. So when Kanye comes up and he's like, well, I'm the leader, I'm gonna lead y'all. And Kanye is shooting like 30% from the field, but everybody else is shooting like 6% from the field, what you gonna do? You gonna go with the dude that's shooting 30% from the field? Are you just gonna not play basketball? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't want to talk about it, because there's so much that I saw in that Drink Champs interview, and I'm still not done watching it. I am convinced that people did not watch that interview. I'm convinced. I think people watched two clips. They watched the George Floyd clip, and they watched the why can't I pronounce that word? The anti-Jewish remarks. Why can't I've been saying it all day, and now I'm like in front of a camera, in front of people, and I can't say it. So, man, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Because in the first 10 minutes, some things were very interesting to me. First 10 minutes, he lays everything out. From the time he begins speaking to his George Floyd comment, he lays out everything. He's like, I'm willing to go to war. I'm willing to die for this, yada, 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 blah, 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 right? The other thing that I thought was interesting was that he was name dropping a lot of Jewish people who were behind the scenes, working with people, connected with people, LA Apparel, Lizzo's trainer. It's very interesting. The way he was name dropping was just very interesting to me. I didn't get again, I'm not all the way done with the interview. I still want to watch the, what's homie's name? Hold up. What's buddy's name? Because somebody told me to watch another Kanye interview. Shut up. What's buddy's name? Lex Friedman. Kanye has an interview with him that I was told to watch. So I want to watch that. Because the other thing is, I'm not done yet, but I didn't really hear him talk about Jewish people. I heard him talk about Jewish media. He kept saying Jewish media, Jewish media, Jewish media. Nori was like Jewish people. You know what I'm saying? And Kanye wouldn't say anything. He would just kind of like look and give like a goofy look on his face. But I noticed that he wouldn't say Jewish. He wouldn't say like Kanye didn't really say Jewish people. He said Jewish media. And bruh, like everybody knows that the Jewish media controls the black voice. You know what I'm saying? It's always interesting to me that when All About the Benjamins, Jadakiss says, you should do what we do, stack chips like Hebrews. But they bleeped it out. And when I finally found, for years, I didn't know what he said. And when I finally heard a version of the song where he actually says Hebrews, I was like, yo, why did they bleep that out? I didn't get it. So, man, I ain't going to talk about all this right now. Man, listen, self-awareness to know what you are, most importantly, what you're not. Abso-freaking-lutely. Self-awareness. And you have to, and nowadays you have to communicate that because social media is so full of projection. Everything on social media is projection. Look at how they doing your man Tobe. Have y'all seen what they doing with Tobe? I'm not even gonna try and pronounce his last name. Nick. Yo, I am on trash tonight. Jesus. Hold on. Have y'all seen what they're doing with this man and his wife? Have y'all seen all of the people on TikTok? I was high on TikTok for like 2 weeks. At first I thought it was trash. Then I thought I figured it out and I thought it was great. And now I think it's absolutely terrible. They are projecting. I say they. Women are projecting. Shut up, JB. they are projecting themselves onto the relationship that he has with his wife, Fat. And I'm like, are you serious? Are you kidding me? It's a lot of like body language reading, and it's funny, man. Tell me you not around black men without telling me you around black men. This is why I said, and I said this on one of the episodes of COVID Community. I said that the black family is fetishized, and like the perspective of it. I hear my daughter calling me in the background. I want to run and go get her. It is, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm tripping. The black family is feminized and feminized may not even be a word, but there is an extreme feminine touch to how black families are presented on social media. And so you see like, look, man, I know most of y'all did it, so I ain't gonna hold y'all, but I told my wife absolutely not. Like the the family pictures where you got the white shirt, the white button-up shirt, and the jeans is folded up, and you ain't got no shoes. See you barefoot. Like there's no way the man in that relationship was like, yo, we gonna get this off. This is gonna be hard. Let's take pictures like this. No way. But just the overall aesthetic of the black family is driven by women. You don't really see, like I said, belief in fatherhood is like the most accurate depiction of the black family that I've ever seen. Specifically like the modern black family. Like them, they get on camera ashy, they house be dirty. And I love it. I need to sign up to his Patreon just to support the man, because I absolutely love it. And it's so real and it's so authentic, and it's clearly told from a man's perspective while still honoring and giving space for the women in the family. Like, it's beautiful. So what they're doing with Tobe and Keem, I want to hear your thoughts and why you think the Tobe situation is nuanced. But like, yo, everybody I know, all the dudes I know who are married have very like sarcastic relationships with their wives. So like the wife will be all like lovey-dovey and hey babe and da-da-da. And then like in response, the guy will say something kind of like sarcastic or give a look or whatever. And you know why that is in a lot of cases? Is because men don't really know how to be loved on in a very flattering, lovey-dovey, intimate, vulnerable way. We don't. We get that kind of love from our mother, and some of us don't even get that. You know what I'm saying? Or, in some cases, like our mothers babied us and gave us very much like the oochie coochie, and then when we got older, like the love didn't evolve. So, did I freeze? I froze? Am I good now? Am I good? I hope I didn't freeze. Am I back? Am I good? Am I straight? I'm good in my space. Somebody tell me if I'm frozen or not. Please. I got to spend this week like optimizing my computer for sure. Okay. All right, I'm good. Okay, cool. Oh, Brian, what up, man? Okay, all right. Thanks, guys. All right. Trenton, your phone is trash. No, I'm joking. I'm kidding. Okay. Maybe I froze for a second. But what was I saying? Yeah, so when I see him interacting with his wife now, let me just be clear. Like, I'm not the biggest Tobe fan. So like I don't follow him. I don't really listen to his music like that. But like anytime I see them interact, it's pretty seems pretty genuine to me, but also I don't know them. You can clip out 30 seconds or 10 seconds, or you can clip out a very short amount of time on social media and present it and be the greatest couple in the world. I know that. So much so that, and I also understand that that's a part of their aesthetic. That's part of their brand, is their relationship. I think one of the reasons why women are drawn to that is because they're selling it. And like, let's just be real. Like there's like, it's a selling point for his brand, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. So now you got people like looking and prying and, yeah, I think I see something. The way he looks at her and da-da-da. Well, you don't even, I would love to know if there are any of these critiques are coming from women in healthy relationships. I would bet a considerable amount of money that they're not. And it's people who are watching social media and on these like Black Love platforms, and not the show, because the Black Love show on Oprah's network is fire. So no, I'm not saying that, but I mean like these like Black Love Instagram accounts where like the couples be like dancing in the kitchen while she's cooking and he's like helping, and all the kids got twists in their hair and there's a filter and the barge is in the background playing and the house is clean. Like, man, miss me. So let me go back up to what Keem was saying. What'd he say? I think there are genuine triggers for women. Absolutely. But here's the thing with triggers. And I meant to do a video on this. I'm glad you said that, Keem. And if you want to, this is why I need to bring people on. I need to like bring people on for like 5 or 10 minutes at a time. I really need to figure out how to do that. But here's the thing about triggers. When you're aware of your triggers, you announce your triggers. Like, you have to be self-aware enough to say, yo, this is a trigger for me. I see this and my mind goes here. And there's a way to present that in a way that's not projecting. If I say, yo, let me think of a trigger that I saw. Okay, so recently I went to a church and the pastor started praying, and the way he was praying reminded me of my old pastor from the church that I left, and I got triggered. And what I had to do was I had to like talk to myself in the moment. I grabbed my phone, I'm texting my wife, I'm texting my homegirl, and I'm talking to them, but I'm also in my mind like, okay, this doesn't invalidate the prayer. Like, I'm triggered because of tone and cadence. He's giving that black preacher tone and cadence, right? But that doesn't mean that God doesn't hear the prayer or that the prayer is on trash. It means that I'm triggered by the tone and cadence. So if I can acknowledge that, that kind of takes the air out of the trigger, and I'm able to make a sound decision. Do I lean into the prayer and say, I'm just going to push through this? Or am I going to say, nah, this ain't for me. Let me chill and wait to re-engage, once homie is done praying. You know what I'm saying? So let's see. Carried the fate, fantasy. So my ex-wife didn't announce her triggers and I became one without knowing. Bruh. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad you're in a better space relationally, but that sucks. Communication, boy. Communication. So, yeah, man. What else are we talking about? Because I'm just talking. I was gonna talk about the other stuff, but I don't really have it to talk about. I got this stuff pulled up. Wow. What else? What do we say? Guys in the middle of nuances and relearn community. I ain't gonna lie, I don't really want to talk about this tonight. I don't want to talk about this tonight. Like, I'm kind of having fun talking about like Tobe and Kanye and nuance of leadership and stuff like that. This is cool. I'm still trying to figure out what this live is going to be, and just like laying out my content for the week and what type of engagement and what direction to push people in and all that stuff. Like, I'm still figuring this out. So yeah, we just gonna freestyle. Somebody throw me a word. Somebody said ad lib. Not I'm not doing that. So yeah, triggers are super important to announce and be aware of. Like, those, like, triggers, like, understanding your triggers will save your life, dog. Like, it'll get you out of so many situations, because to be self-aware, here's the thing, to be self-aware of your triggers doesn't mean that you are like making excuses for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I know that this is a trigger for me, then I know this is a trigger for me, hard stop. It just means that I'm self-aware enough to know that this is a trigger. And it doesn't mean that I'm like coddling the trigger. It means that I'm acknowledging it, because when I acknowledge things, when things get acknowledged, the air comes out the room. I don't know how many times my wife and I, one of the great things about my wife and I's relationship is that we don't argue. We just like talk emotionally. So like, if we disagree about something, the more we talk, like, we kind of get to the root, and we're like, oh, that's the problem. And it lets the air out. And once the air gets let out, then we're able to like really talk about the root of the problem. And what we were arguing about, or what we had a disagreement on, don't really be the issue. You know what I'm saying? It'd be something totally different. It's usually like somebody dropped the ball in communicating, either hearing or listening. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry, either speaking or listening. So yeah, bro. Definitely we'll be doing more of these. My goal is to do these every week. My goal is every Wednesday at 9 to like get this going for an hour. And eventually transition into like a community. I don't know if I'm going to do like a Patreon thing. I'm thinking through some stuff. But my goal is to make a community out of this for sure. So, B Plus said, did you get any interesting responses on what people had to unlearn about their faith? Yeah, I did. That's what I was originally going to talk about tonight, but Keem asked about Kanye and I went off. We should first know who we are before we can commit to a life of getting to know someone else. I would say, and B Plus, I'm going to come back to that. I'll share some of those faith answers. Absolutely. When do you know yourself? These are questions that I have on my barber. My barber is not a believer, but my barber asks really good questions. When he first started, I've known him for a long time. When he first started cutting my hair, I dismissed him. This was like right before the pandemic. I was like, yeah, like, oh man, he on that Hotep. He on that stuff, man, get out of here. But the more I talk to him, the more questions he asks, the more that I can like, maybe like throw out some of the stuff that I don't agree with, but then actually engage the things that actually make sense. But like, when do we actually know who we are? You know what I'm saying? So if we're creatures in Christ, and the Bible talk, and God provides your identity and all that stuff, right? The Lecrae record, all that, my identity is found in Christ, all that stuff, right? When do you know who you are? Or do you just become comfortable with the process of learning who you are, and you're okay with maybe the stopping point, or maybe a difficult, like, dang, what is this? Who am I? What's going on? What is this? That would be my question. When do we know who we are? I would love for anybody to jump in. Because I mean, like, my birthday is next week, and who I was last year is not the same person who I am today. No way. No way. And I'm not even talking about like through the I'm not talking about like post quarantine. I don't want to call it post pandemic, but like post quarantine. Oh, I'm still like making drastic changes to my life. Still a newlywed, like still learning my job as husband and father. I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Yo, Keem, I'm not the politics guy at all. That's Doc, sort of. I'm not the politics guy. I don't know nothing about nothing. I was supposed to go to I got invited to a hangout in the city. So one of my homegirls works for the company that is going to be supplying the new body cams for the Columbus Police Department. So she invited like leaders in the city. And I was like, I'm a leader in the city. I'm actually like surprised that I got invited. I wasn't able to go tonight. But they have a couple of meetings with community leaders, the Columbus Police Department, and the company supplying the cameras, the body cams. And that would have been interesting. Just to be a fly on the wall. Like I don't really have any questions, but just to be a fly on the wall. I would love to know that. Here we go. Understanding the process and not ignoring or compartmentalizing the trauma of the past. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a girl that I follow on Instagram. I can't pronounce her name because I just can't pronounce anything tonight. But she often talks about like you're not this like science project. Like your whole life is not dedicated to you like unlearning your traumas and all this stuff. Like, because you're not going to get to this place of perfection. It's something that it's something that I hear a lot of like Christians say when we talk about like, being, you know, well, God is going to continually work on us until he comes back. But we don't act like it. We really don't. We really act like God is supposed to get to a finishing point and then things are supposed to launch. It's like, nah. We supposed to do stuff when we still muddy and dirty and filthy, like. And when he comes back, I think the perfecting will probably be like new bodies or whatever. But I just don't. Number one, I don't see myself like being perfect in faith. I see myself being perfected, but I don't see myself being perfect in my faith. Not in this body. Absolutely not. I think a lot of Christians are in uncharted territories because who they really are is not completely mapped out in scripture. 100%. Absolutely. And I know for me personally, that's been my beef for a long time, is that I've been looking for like a roadmap to be like, yo, and this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, yo, who can I model my life after? And most people point to what? Paul, or they point to David, or they point to Abraham. I'm like, dawg, I'm not doing it. Not with the three of them. No, sir. That's why I think I have so much grace for Kanye, because we're able to read these biblical stories in hindsight and we see this man's story being played out in real time. And I can pinpoint parts of my walk where I was super wilding and I thought I was in my right mind. And when I look back, I was like, I was tripping. Super tripping. But also in that, it was like, nah, some of that stuff that I was saying at that time, like that was facts. I've been listening to a lot of my old music lately, just to kind of get back in the rhythm of like writing and doing music a little more consistently. And like some of the stuff I say on them records, I'm like, I do not believe that anymore. But some of it, I'm like, yo, I was talking. Wow. Okay. You know, it's part of the process. I say it's important to be responsible for what you do know about yourself. Yes. Great point, Shane. We don't know everything, but what we do know is our responsibility to maintain. Absolutely. Great point. I think you know who you are when you can really embrace your humanity and come to terms with the human experience, with what the human experience is. Absolutely. Interesting point. Would it be fair to equate Kanye to Paul/Pablo? Yeah, I mean, the life of Pablo was about Paul. So according to him and a few other people, that's the correlation. So, the point that actually a couple of y'all made is one of the answers to the, what are the things that you had to unlearn and what did it teach you about yourself? It's actually one of my favorite responses. So this is from my homegirl. She said, I'm learning that I don't have to become less human as I grow closer with God. She said, I'm learning I don't have to become less human as I grow closer with God. His holiness and my holiness, and she spelled holiness Holey, like just holes in myself and my character. Those two things can coexist. It made me see that I haven't been able to experience him as a father because of all the obligations to a king that I thought I first had to accomplish. Trying to figure out who I really am without the black and white thinking / rules. Bro. If anything, man, getting closer to God should unlock your humanity. It really should. You should feel more of yourself as you get closer and you begin to experience the love of God, the character of God, the mind of God, the heart of God. I recently heard about a friend of mine who who was just now learning to experience that, and he's in his 50s or something like that, and it's new for him. And that was a theme that I'm realizing was in a lot of the answers. Like, a lot of us are finding our humanity as we get closer to God. Like, oh shoot, I got a license to, you mean this is, oh shoot. And because we always just associate, because Christians always associate humanity with sin. And sin is just an aspect of humanity. It is not the totality of it. Like, creativity is humanity. Joy is humanity. Community is humanity. Feeling is humanity. What? I should be able to experience all of those things. I should be a better creative. I should be able to feel my feelings. I should be able to connect with other people simply because I experience the holiness and the totality of a whole, total, complete, full God. Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. Man, that was good. Makes sense, bro. Let me see what other answers I got. Community, callous. That was a really good answer. I may come back to that. Oh, yes. Actually, B, I wanna read yours, bro. So, you said I had to unlearn the thought that I would go down to the altar one day and quote unquote get it right with God and live happily or wholly ever after. Do you know? Listen, I think I talked about that in my live about my ministry experience. Do you know how many times people felt like they had to go to the altar at the end of a sermon? The altar call became a symbolism for that was a good word. So it wasn't like the word could only prick you and convict you. And then because you wanted to appease the pastor, your response was, I got to get to the altar. And let me get on my face and let me cry, even though I done did this 10 times before, 20 times before, 50 times before. I just did this last week before, month before. And it's about the same stuff. And then pastor would talk to me in confidence and be like, man, like, I was just up there. I'm not gonna lay hands on you. You was just up there to say, and I'm like, nigga, you. Oh man. I hear my daughter in the background. I want to go grab her so bad. What was I saying? Oh, so yeah, bro. So you literally think that because that's culture in many spaces, that you're literally going to go to the altar. Tone Make Me Over is going to start playing. Shekinah Glory Ministry, yes, is going to start playing. And you're going to have this moment with God, and you're going to fall out, and you're going to get taken up into a cloud and go to the third heaven and have this unbelievable worship experience. And you're going to wake up from that experience, and everything about you is going to change. Let me tell you, I don't know why I'm acting like this tonight, man. I'm bugging. A lot of times, man, church is like a placeholder for the work. And I shouldn't say church. A lot of times, aspects of church are placeholders for the work. And I can always tell just by talking to somebody if they're doing the work. You can hear, I talked about this a few weeks ago. You can hear it in their language. Like, bro, I'm doing the work. Because there's like a tinge of like humility and like being grounded in their voice. They have language to things. They're also aware that there are things that they do not have language to, but they're trying to find it. They're in the process of discovering that language. And there's like there's a rhythm and a routine that they just like approach things with, versus blessed and highly favored, doing all this stuff, just kind of primarily wrapped up in the culture of like black church. Like, nah, bro, we're doing the work. Because the work is hard. The work to be whole is hard. The work to be free is hard. So not only are you dealing with supernatural things, you're dealing with an adversary, you're dealing with a devil who doesn't play fair, right? You're also dealing with the reality of you and the way that you were created and the things that you are like bent to, your devices and the things that you like, and, you know, finding out why you like the things that you like, why you bend that way, and why those things that you bend towards have such a strong pull on you. And you still trying to like show up for people and show up for yourself and show up for your community. It's hard. It's hard. It's doable. You partner with God, you link up with your community, you do the work, you go to therapy, you apologize, you know, all of the things. It's hard. It's hard. And like we've been talking about tonight, it's a continual process. So no, you can't just go now, listen, I've had experiences at the altar. I tell people all the time, like, yo, my some issues with my mother got reconciled at the altar on a Mother's Day. I know for a fact some bitterness and anger that I harbored towards my mother. I went to the altar. There was an altar call for people who did not have good relationships with their mother. And I went to the altar and I received prayer. And I do believe I experienced some deliverance. I really do. I wholeheartedly believed it. It changed how I spoke to my mother and how I thought of my mother from that day forward. To this day, our relationship is different because I went to the altar and something supernatural happened. But that also came with conversations. That came with resolving things. That came with work. So it is what it is. All right, where y'all at? Yeah, the upper room. Absolutely. Break Every Chain. I miss Break Every Chain. Yo, by the time our church transitioned to Break Every Chain, I made it a point to not go to the altar anymore. I said I'm either gonna. I used to sit in the. So my church was pretty small. It was only like 50 members or something like that. It was a small church, and it was an office space that got converted into a church. So it was pretty small. I would sit in the back, and I told whoever needed to know, I'm not going to the altar. I have to feel really impressed by the Holy Spirit to go up there. Otherwise, I'm not going. And I'm not doing altar work. I ain't cut that off. I'm tired of putting bed sheets over people who ain't laid out for real. I'm tired of it. I'm not doing it. Y'all fronting. I'm not doing it. So it is what it is. That experience will last until Tuesday. Then I'd fall off. Then I wait for the next altar call and try again. Absolutely. Boy, Tuesday around the time will fall off. Absolutely. That thing start feeling on the back of your neck. And you're like, You're like, yo, if I can make it. And sometimes it's like, yo, if I can make it to Bible study, that's a successful week. If I can make it to Thursday night Bible study, I'm good. Couldn't even make it to Thursday some weeks, many weeks. Pageantry, absolutely. Altar's not a bad place. What we done with it can be the problem. I guess it's a trigger for me. See? Absolutely. Break Every Chain is a skip. He said it was a skip. Oh shoot. Yeah, hey man. That's one of the things, man. Like I'm on record saying I don't really listen to worship music. Like there was a point where I was really leaning on it to like connect with God, and then like now I don't listen to it. I don't listen to it at all. I don't listen to it, and I feel bad sometimes because I'll be like, I have friends who listen to it, and they're like, they have these experiences with, and I know exactly what they're talking about. Like, and I'm like, dang, I wish I could have these experiences, but I'm also like, I don't like this song. I don't like this song. So it is what it is. Let's see if we can find some more. Because that goes with this. So this was another one. God's love for me specifically wasn't a thing until very recently. In fact, I'm still struggling to practice sitting in it. His mercy was super clear. His generosity is like a spotlight. But his love, I never knew it. His love, I never knew it wasn't just an idea or a general characteristic. He really cares. Praying to grow in the awareness of this, not so I will think less of myself, but think of myself less and about him and his plans more. I used to think I was being changed by information. It's slowly becoming clear that any real and beneficial change will be because he loves me. That's hard. That's beautiful. See, I hear my daughter. Here she come. Z, come here. Come here. See, I turn into an absolute punk when my daughter comes in here. Come here, baby. Come here. Come sit with daddy. I know, I heard you. Come on, come sit with me. Come on. Oh, do not grab for the microphone, please. See, now I can't. You can't even. Okay, I'll hold you up like this. Hold on, let's go here. Z. Hey. She's very shy, so she's not going. She knows that there's a camera on here, so she's like, I'm absolutely not turning around. There she is. Hi, pretty girl. Say hi. There we go. Hey, hi. This is my dog right here. This is my dog. It's my homie. What's up, Z? You want to count? Hold on, y'all. She's 18 months old. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 20. Yay, good job.
Mom.
A.
B. C. D. C. D. E. F. D. H. I. K. L. M. L. P.
Q.
O. S. T. U. V. W. S.
Oh, she's pointing out the S in my essentials. She can point out. She knows upper and lowercase letters. She's nuts. We have an excellent daycare provider. You gonna go see mommy?
No.
You gonna go see mommy?
No.
Hey, Tanika. Hey, man. See, now she's calling. All right, bet. Nah, she jumped out my arm. She cool. I'm about to wrap up anyway. I got 10 minutes. Can you shut my door, please? Thank you. That's my dog. That's my dog. Yo, that's not normal. Yo, she is. When last time we measured her at her she just had a she just had a checkup with her doctor recently, but I didn't get the numbers. But when we measured her at I think her 14-month checkup, she was 39 inches. She's 3'3" and she's 18 months old. She's nuts. She's crazy. That's my dog. That's my dog. That's my dog. So, all right, where we at? I just got thrown off. That's my dog. All right, let's wrap up. What we doing? I used to think I was being changed by information to slowly becoming clear that any real and beneficial change will be because he loves me. That was actually my beef. Not my beef, but that's something I used to wrestle with like reform culture. Because reform culture was so like head knowledge and like theology based. And a lot of the a lot of the Christian rappers used to like ascribe to like the John Pipers and like all of those people. And I'll be like, yo, this is like, I don't like the culture. Like, oh, am I supposed to be like this studious? And it was just very unappealing, but like me not really understanding that just like the body is vast and different and all this stuff. Like I thought that was, especially being a Christian rapper, I started looking at my church like, why are we doing this? How come we not, you know what I'm saying? So even there was a point where I was listening to like theologians because I thought I had to. But when I think back on that time, I was probably wilding the most. There was very little transformation for me during that time. I was wilding. And I had all the head knowledge in the world versus any change that I've experienced. I can always ascribe it to the Lord using something or himself. Like, I'm like, oh, that's where the change happened. There's always like some sort of pinpoint. It very rarely came from like head knowledge. And now, again, some people love that. And that's how they get their fix of the Lord. And that's great. Again, like, I'm not here to police culture. But for me, I couldn't do it. Yeah, very rigid. They were and here's the other thing, like, I never experienced anybody who was deep into that culture and they were actually like really nice and had a lot of grace for people. They were always like, word, word, word. The Bible says this, Bible says this. They love to argue. And I'm like, we're not arguing because we're not hearing the other person's perspective. Like, we arguing because you like to argue. So I'm just gonna shut this down. It's like the dude who, when you running at the gym, and he's like he trying to like try out for the NBA. So he got his shirt off, he's sweaty, he trying to post up on you. I'm like, bro, if you need to do all this to win a game at LA Fitness, like, you got it. I'm not doing that. The theologians be a little bogus too, for real. Do tell, Bill. Do tell. See, I got time for one more, because Zaya threw me off. Right. Not much grace for a whole theology built on grace. 100%. Let me see. Holiness. God is in the nuances. Yeah, because Bill, you like that. Yeah, you like that stuff. Because you put me on the old boy. What's his name? Marcus Graham. What's homie's name? The buff dude? What's homie's name? Because I saw him and Ruslan argue about whatever they argued about. And that was like the least fruitful argument I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, these are heroes? That goes back to my other point. It ain't Charlemagne. It ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's Kanye a little bit. It ain't Jay-Z. It ain't none of these dudes. And it's also not like Mike Todd and Ruslan and like these other dudes that like position themselves as voices for a certain demographic of Christianity. And I'm like, no, bro. You have your audience. You got your audience. Never gonna take your audience away from you. But you don't speak for all of us. You know what I'm saying? So, Marcus Rogers. Okay, same thing. Same thing. Yo, King, nobody's ever called me a theologian. I don't know how to take that. I know you meant that as a compliment, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to be a theologian. Oh, no, Bill is a theologian, high key. And I ain't really sat down with Bill and had a conversation with him like that. But he's absolutely a theologian. You crazy? Absolutely he is. So, yeah, man. All right, man. Let's get out of here because I want to keep these at an hour. So next time I get on, I got this thing on Stream Deck that I bought and don't use. I got OBS working and I don't use it. The next time I get on here, here's what happened last time. I just keep it 1,000 with y'all. The last time when I asked a bunch of people like, hey, would you want to get on here and share your experiences? Like, a bunch of people raised their hands, and I thought about what it would take to, like, I was going to reach out to people and do all this other stuff. It's like, nah, man, we just going to pop back up. And if you hear, like, just be ready to get let on the live. So yeah, just be ready. I don't know what we're going to talk about next. Oh, here's what I think I'm going to talk about next week. Maybe. So my birthday is next week, and I want to talk about some things that I've learned in my 30s. So I want to talk about, should I put out the video for Grow Old next week? I'm going to talk to my wife. So I shot a video for my verse. There's a record by a cat. His name is Timothy Welbeck. It's a song with me, him, Taylor Gray, and Swoop. It's called Grow Old. And I actually shot a video for my verse. And I may put out that video. Maybe not next week. Maybe I'll just carry it over. Maybe we'll just talk about age for a couple of weeks. Because, Keem, you're right. We will have plenty of content for next week. CRS ain't going to cover it all. My little lives and YouTubes and stuff ain't going to cover it all. But, yeah, make sure you guys, if you are not Subscribe to my YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube. Please like this video. Please comment on this live. Even if you were on there, just say, yo, I had a great time. This was amazing. I'm trying to get my watch hours up because I need to monetize this space. This is the only thing that I need. So I need y'all's help with the engagement, like really, really, really bad. I'm really enjoying building this space, and I'm just charging myself to be more consistent. It is not my wife's fault because she's super supportive. It's me for having 1,000,001 things to do and being tired by the time 10 o'clock comes. So with that, thank you guys. It's always the same people on here, and it's always love. But I want to thank my man Brian was here. I think this was Keem's first time. My man B Plus, it was his first time. But you know, some of the regulars, Kellis, Bill, JB was in here for a minute. Yeah, I just want to thank you guys, and I'll see y'all next time. I'll see y'all next week.